You were born with this, weren't you? This was called bladder exstrophy?
Bladder exstrophy is correct, or epispade, as it's known as. It's where your bladder's on the outside of your body, basically.
OK, so...
And how does that affect your body?
It affects it by... Things don't fuse in the middle, so you have a lot of operations, and basically you're born... There's different variations of it, so you have a born with bits of penis or none, and I had the worst variation, and it was none.
So you had testicles?
Yeah.
Right.
So as a child, I imagine when you're a young child, it's something that you don't overly notice too much. It doesn't seem to bother you. But when you came into teenage years, that's when this really became an issue for you.
Yeah, it doesn't affect you as a kid. It's just the operations that affect you. But when you hit about 13, 14, you know you're in for trouble. You know something really bad's coming.
Yeah.
And when you were here in 2013, one of the things you were talking about was the fact that to compensate for that, you had slept with 100 women. Mm-hmm. And that, it becomes clearer, was because you appeared to be just desperately trying to find a companion.
Oh, 100%. People thought it was a boast, and it wasn't. It was... You couldn't settle down with one woman, so you'd end up moving woman to woman to woman.
Because I assume when you told them, it just didn't last very long.
Oh, you didn't... You realised you couldn't tell them. You realised, I'm not going to tell them, because you're going to tell everyone. So you had to kind of make a decision. It was like 20% I told. The rest I thought, it's not going to work out. So it wasn't a boast, it was just... I had no other option.
Well, you met Fabian around about the time that you came on in 2013.
Yeah.
Fedra, sorry, Fedra. When did you tell her?
Well, I was kind of... It came out in the newspaper, and I thought, oh, they told me what day it was coming out, and I had to tell. I told her the night before the newspaper. And the funny thing was, I even tried to get out of it. I told her, when she was reading the newspaper the next day, I even said to her, don't believe everything you read in the newspapers.
But that's extraordinary. So Fedra, you were together for, well, 9 months, I would say, until you found out. Mm. So, I mean, that's quite a big thing to suddenly discover, especially when you're reading it in a paper. So how did you feel about that?
It was a weird night, I will put it that way.
But a bit of a shock, I imagine.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I didn't really know how to react to it, where to put it. I was trying, you know, very best to be, you know, patient with the questions. But I asked a couple of questions, and we kind of, you know, let it settle.
Well, if anything, it's strengthened your relationship. Although there may be no sex between you, the conversation, you've had to speak, you've had to talk. I mean, at one point it nearly broke you up, but if anything, this has definitely created quite a bond between the pair of you.
Yeah. Well, we got to a point where we almost broke up. And I think that was the point when we both said it right. Let's give it a shot. But let's woman up, let's man up, and let's give our best, which we can. Yeah. Because when you can do one thing, you will find a way. So we are best friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And you say that the sex is not something that is necessarily forefront in your mind.
Of course not. People think that's the main thing, and it's not, because first I want to be well, because you go in hospital with infections, so people don't see that side.
Years of kidney infections.
Oh, complete years, like 100 operations, more. And people just think it's about sex, and it's not. I'll look at that when I get better. Yeah. And then I can move the relationship forward, but it's not about sex to me at all.
So the question is obviously that you've got to be asked, what have you got? What have they given you?
They've built completely what any man's got now. You know, they've done an amazing job, and you have to see what these people can do, these surgeons, the NHS, amazing. I've got what anyone's got now. It just needs turning on. I have one more operation, and they're just going to basically turn it on.
So the skin comes from your arm?
Do you want to see the arm?
Yeah.
OK, it actually comes from there.
Wow! Oh, my gosh. So they literally... And that forms the skin on the outside of your penis?
Yeah, yeah. Well, basically, I can cover that up with a tattoo, so I'm looking for a tattoo artist now. Yeah. So you won't actually see that when I get it covered up.
So once again, I ask this on behalf of gentlemen everywhere, and that's some ladies, I'm sure, as well. But you look at that, and you can sort of see the size of what... Were you not tempted at any stage to say, right, OK, well, actually take the skin up to there?
I don't. A lot of people say that. I don't think they do sizes. They just do it off your arm and muscle. They get what you're given, so...
And so when you say it's switched on, what is that process?
Well, the process, it's one more operation. It's basically they put the mechanics in, and they have to basically just turn it on, and it's A 3-day stint in hospital.
So does that mean that when the decision is made that tonight's the night type of thing, that you press a button and it happens?
It's kind of like that. I can't make excuses, you know. It's just I could do it when I'm asleep, couldn't
No
I?
excuses, no getting off.
You could just switch it off.
We go to sleep.
But with that comes the added initial problem of the fact that to test that it works, you have to have a 2-week erection.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to that, definitely. And I've got to get the train home from London that day, so I've got to have an erection for 2 weeks.
And where are you going to go for that amount of time?
Home?
Just stay in.
100%, yeah, I'm not walking about.
Once it is sort of up and running, can you have a family?
I haven't looked into that yet. If I can, I can. If I can't, we'll just adopt. So it's not really, we've agreed on it, haven't we? That's not really the issue. So I'm really happy where it's going.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the reason
well
you're
done,
doing
you.
this is because you want to say, you know, if there is, and this is, you know, it's not common, but there will be people who have this, that there is now a way forward.
Yeah, some people can be sat at home. I understand it's not everyone's going to have this, but I mean, really rare conditions. Just get up, go and see your GP, go and do something about it. I was in a really dark place. I got up, I did something about it. There is help out there. Do not sit at home thinking nothing's going to change, because I am just proof everything can change.
Yeah. If you enjoyed that, there's more of the same right here. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss the best moments from this morning.